Bonjour, hello, wherever you may be. Happy Tuesday. It is, oh my gosh, it's the 30th of March. We're already a third of the way through the year. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, welcome. I always like to start just by acknowledging the land upon which we stand, and I think it's more important than ever to really understand why we're doing it, because I've been to a lot of events lately, and sometimes when I explain why the land acknowledgement is important, it just kind of goes over people's heads. So it's really important that we do acknowledge the land in a good way, but we also know why we're doing it. And so it's to acknowledge, the families that have been here for thousands upon thousands of generations. It's to acknowledge those treaties that were signed, and what a treaty is. It's a promise. It was a promise to come together, to share, to learn, to grow together, to build community in a meaningful way, to learn from each other in a meaningful way, and to really make the world a better place for our future generations. But with the state of our world right now, it really shows that those treaties were not adhered to. And so I think we need to dial it back and look at the core essence of what's important to all of us. And so that being said, it's important to do the land acknowledgement to understand our responsibility to learn about the past that has got us here, but also to make sure that we make a better world for all of our future generations. And so I live here in Mohkinstis, which is Treaty 7 territory, but I am from Nehiyawak territory, so I'm from Treaty 6. I am from Muskeg Lake Cree Nation, which is in Saskatchewan, and that's where my family has been. That is on my mom's side. On my dad's side, we're just French from Quebec, because in Quebec, if you have mixed blood, you don't talk about it. So yeah, you look at some of my aunties or even my kamame, you're like, you have high cheekbones and no butt. No, there's no way, you're just French. So I just honor that family, and I hope that one day I'll be able to uncover just how deep those roots go. So I think it's really, really important. Oh, hey, Lance from Treaty 8. That's awesome. And so I just wanted to acknowledge the land that I stand upon, which is Mohkinstis Treaty 7 territory. So I honor the Blackfoot of Siksika, Kainai, and Pagani. I was at a beautiful event this weekend called Nitsitapi Water Protectors. So we're standing up against some of those coal mines that are scheduled to go through here in Alberta and just devastate some of the amazing beauty that we see all around us. Not only that, but destroy our water. And so I think it's really important that we preserve our water for our future generations, because without water, there's no life. But the Nitsitapi or the Blackfoot have been really taking the lead on a lot of those. And specifically, I want to give a shout out to my friend Latasha, who has just been phenomenal and on the front lines of doing this. So she's just a fierce warrior woman, and I love her. But it's also awesome because there was such wonderful representation from all of the Blackfoot nations, from Pagani, from Siksika, from Kainai. My elder came down from Siksika to say a beautiful, beautiful prayer, and it just really sets the tone. I think it's important to know we need to set that tone with that land acknowledgement. We need to set the tone with those prayers from our elders, because they carry that knowledge that some of us might have forgotten, but they also help to give those future generations a fighting chance. I acknowledge Tsutsuna. So Tsutsuna is just outside of the city and to the west, and I used to pick my medicines out there, and I really, really love it. There was representation from Siksika on the weekend, and it was really wonderful to see that, because we're all invested in water. I mean, obviously, we need it to survive. I also honor the Stoney Nakoda from Morley, which includes Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. There were so many different community members that came down from those nations, and it was good to see just everybody all together working for the same goals, because that's, I think, what we need to do as all people, not just First Nations, not just Inuit, not just Métis, but everyone. We're all in this together, and we have the responsibility to all of our future generations to make sure the world is better than when we got here. Over the last weekend, I was actually doing a workshop at a place that wasn't really taken care of. And so when I got there, I had to clean up before I was even able to start teaching. So before I left, I remember the teachings that I was gifted in ceremony, that is, you always leave the world a better place than when you got there. Even when you're coming into a space that's not your own, you always leave it better than when you got there. And so after I was done, the workshop, I made sure that I cleaned everything. I swept everything out. I wiped all the tables down. I hung it up. But the space looked completely different than when we got there because it was clean. So I think that is something we can instill in our children, to make sure that we leave a better space, a better world than when we got here. And that translates from space to space. It translates to our environment. It translates to our relationships. Make sure that we leave people better when we leave those relationships than when we got there. And even if our relationships are labored, sometimes it really it teaches us so much, and it gives us such strength to move forward. I do have, strained relationships with some of my exes, but they have left my life better because I have children to show for it, or I have, such amazing strength and perseverance and wisdom that I know what I can, take on in the world, but I also have that confidence to do it. And I think sometimes when we look at the big picture, we forget that those little things that, might have not been so great at the time, they've actually brought us to where we need to be. And that's also the teaching of the Thunderbird. But just to welcome everybody into the circle today, I wanted to share with you the Cree welcome song, because it's just a beautiful way to bring everyone together. So Miasin, which is the Cree welcome song, it's usually when we sing songs, we sing in rounds of 4 to honor the 4 directions of the medicine wheel. But this song is a little bit different. We actually sing it in rounds of 3, and that's to keep the circle open and welcoming, so everyone completes the circle today. Because in a circle, we're all connected. There's no beginning, there's no end. No one is greater or less than anyone else in the circle, just like in the hoop of life. So it teaches us to really honor each other for our voices, for those amazing, diverse, incredible voices, incredible cultures, incredible backgrounds, incredible food. But I was also at another rally on the weekend for anti-racism, because I think it's important to accept people for who they are. And you don't have a choice with who you're born into or the race that you're born into, but you do have a choice with how you treat other people. And so this song really encompasses that. It shows that we need to respect and honor each other, not judge each other, not compare ourselves to other people, because that's never going to work, because we're totally different. But it's important to understand that that diversity and that inclusion, that's what makes the circle strong. That's what makes our community resilient. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to agree 100% of the time, but it's those moments when we can find those compromises. That's truly what makes our community resilient. And that also works in relationships as well. And so Mia Sin, which is the Cree welcome song, is from the Natahau family from Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation. So I honor that family for keeping the song and the story alive, because for so long we weren't allowed. We weren't allowed to share our language or our songs or our stories or our regalia, which I'm so proud of my regalia. I'm actually going to be pulling an all-nighter making ceremonial ribbon skirts. So I don't know what I got myself into, but that's what I'm going to be doing tonight, drinking a lot of coffee and making a lot of skirts. So, but I'm very, very thankful and humbled that this song has kind of come into my life, and I honor and thank the Natahau family for keeping this song and story alive. And so Mia Sin, it doesn't just mean welcome, it also means beautiful. And I'm going to stand up to sing. Mia Sin, Mia Sin, Semina, Semina, e pentakote, niwagomagan, hota, homa, kitaskino, miasen, miasen, hasemina, hasemina, e
ta kote ni wa gomagan hota homa kita skino miasen miasen hasemina hasemina e peta kote ni wa gomagan hota homa kita skino.
Hi, and welcome to the circle today, everybody. So before I smudge, which I love to do, I'm actually going to talk a little bit about the medicines and the hides. So I've had a few people ask me to share a little bit of my hide teachings, just because they had attended some workshops and they just needed a little bit of a refresher. And also, I don't know, it's kind of been calling to me to talk about these teachings. And I think it's also important to remember that these are just my teachings. These are Cree and Anishinaabe teachings, and so it's important to learn from many different elders, from many different knowledge keepers, from many different storytellers, those people that share and have that incredible those things to teach you, because you never know what's going to resonate with you. And so when I share, I can only share what I know. And it's not right or wrong, it's just different, and everything is going to impact you differently. And so this is why it's important to learn from all of those people and to know that nothing that we do is written in stone. This is why we have oral teachings and oral storytelling, because whatever's meant for us, we'll carry forward, and whatever's not won't take up space in our brain. There won't be a test. That's okay. Don't worry about it. And so I'm just going to start in the east really quickly. In the east on my medicine wheel, of course, we start from the east, go to the south, go then to the west, and then to the north. In Mohawk country, where one of my friends is from, they actually go the other way because they're reflecting the sky, because they're the people of the lakes. So they would see the sky reflected in the lakes, and that's how they ran ceremony. Just different teachings. Not right or wrong, just different. And so in the east I have sweetgrass. We have grandfather sun in the east. Grandfather sun is really about the morning. It's about the springtime, which is now. It's allergy season for me. But it just teaches us to really honor those new beginnings, honor our children, because that's when we start our lives, to remember that curiosity, and to remember to always learn, to never be rigid with our thinking, but to always just be open. Because kids they're open to learn everything. They don't have a prejudice unless they start to learn it from those around them. So it's important to understand, like, we have to raise our kids in a good way. I'm just going to share a quick little story about my eldest son. So one day he came to me and he's like, Mom, like, he's 23 now. I think he was 21 when he came to me, and he's like, Mom, I think I'm a feminist. And I'm like, then I've done a good job. So I'm very thankful for that. We have sweetgrass in the east. And when I make medicine bags, when I make drums, when I make rattles, I actually use 4 different hides. I use deer, elk, moose, and buffalo. In the east, I have elk. And elk is usually the first to move in the spring. Elk is always the leader. It's really about the clarity of mind, the clarity of spirit, the clarity of learning. It's about that joyfulness of youth, of always moving forward in a good way. Also that connection it has to fire, because it can sense fire coming in. It actually warns animals. When it comes back into a place that's been scorched, it actually tamps down the hot spots, and it brings with it the seeds to spread. And so it's really about those new beginnings. And so that's elk in the east. We're going to go to the south, and in the south we have cedar. Cedar is amazing. It is antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It has an antihistamine. In fact, I have made myself some cedar tea with a little cloud tea in it, because cedar tea on its own doesn't taste the best. So, But this time of year, my allergies always kick up, especially because of the snow mold. It's just, yeah, my throat starts to get itchy, and I'm like, okay, it's cedar time. So I've got some cedar because I know my allergies are starting, and I just don't want them to overtake me. But cedar is in the south. It honors our physical body, which is probably why it cures what ails you. It also honors our connection to the earth. It reminds us of that breath that we share with the trees and the plants, and how all of the plants and animals, we always all my relations, because we're all related. We all are carbon-based life forms, and we need each other to survive. We need to remember the teachings of the plants and the animals, because they have so much that they guide us on this journey. And sometimes I think we get so short-sighted because we think we have all of this information, especially now with all this new technology, but we still have many things that we have to learn from those plants and from those animals. And the cedar teaches us that. It teaches us to really have that good foundation that's based in the earth, and always honor Creator. Also honoring our ancestors that have been here for thousands of years, and honoring those future generations by laying that good foundation for them. Because if a tree doesn't have a good foundation, it falls over. The hide that we have there on my medicine wheel is buffalo, and buffalo directly connects to the earth. It was said that buffalo gave its body to us so that we could survive through the winters, before we were gifted fire from the thunderbird. And so buffalo is amazing because it teaches us how to live on the earth. It actually walks in between plants, so it doesn't trample the plants. This is why it's always looking down. It reminds us to always look down and honor the earth when we're walking, so that we can be at one when we walk with the earth. Also, when it eats the plants, it doesn't rip the roots out of the ground. It only kind of chops off the top, so it reminds us to always leave those roots of the plant in the ground so that they can, grow back. All of those plants can grow back. Also, the buffalo only takes what it needs, because it knows if it takes more than what it needs, well, it's going to be pretty bogged down. It won't be able to, run as quickly, but also there won't be enough for those other members of the herd behind it. And so it teaches us about moderation. The buffalo also, which is super cool, I just found this out from an elder, they actually have an enzyme in their saliva that helps plants grow back faster. So I love it. It's amazing. So that's buffalo in the south. In the west, we have sage, which is considered the women's medicine. We have grandfather sun in the east. We have grandmother moon in the west. Grandmother moon, she governs the tides, so she pushes the tides in and out. Our bodies are mostly water, so this is why we get a little crazy around a full moon. I always really feel invigorated and very connected during a full moon. So the last few days, I really haven't been sleeping much because I've just been and whenever I do, my dreams are on point. It's ridiculous how on point my dreams are. So I'll tell my son about my dream, and then literally 8 hours later, the same thing will happen, and he's like, what is going on? So yeah, they're always on point, specifically around a full moon. But it teaches us about honoring the water, honoring our heart medicine, honoring our connection to each other. And the hide that we have there in the west is the moose, because the moose actually submerges itself in the water and gets back up. The moose moves the most in the full moon because, of course, it's connected to water. Of course, that light happens at night, but it reminds us of, honoring our emotions, honoring our tears, because that's what connects each and every one of us. If it wasn't for our emotions, none of us would be here. So we need those to build strong communities and families and relationships and friendships. So honor your emotions. Don't be afraid of them, because they're such a huge part of you. And if we kind of stifle them, we start to get sick. And so the moose encourages us to let those emotions out. And so it's considered the women's medicine as well, because in some teachings, when a woman is on her moon time, she can't drum. But in my teachings, if it's a moose drum, yes, you may, if you're going to borrow it from someone else. Unless it's your own drum, then it doesn't matter what hide it is, because that's your baby. So it's connected to you. The sage is, of course, the women's medicine, and it grows everywhere. And it really does help us with emotional healing and emotional grounding. So I love sage. Being Cree, I use a lot of sage. Last year in the summer, in the spring, summer, and fall, I actually went sage picking 6 times, and I got huge bundles, and I was out halfway through the year. So I'm very thankful for the people who have gifted me sage for this last half of the year, and I am looking forward to going sage picking in the next couple of months. So and this time I'm going to attempt to pick more, but I always end up using it for community events anyway, so I always run out. But yeah, so sage is here. In Blackfoot, because I'm in Blackfoot territory, they tend to use a lot more sweetgrass, and that's just different teachings. Not right or wrong, just different. In my teachings, sweetgrass is a men's medicine, so we, if we're on our moon time, we don't use it. If it's our own personal braid of sweetgrass, you can use it, of course, because again, that's connected to you. But it's because we're really powerful, we're really strong, and we tend to overwhelm that medicine, or it can just like all the power, it'll just come to us. This is why we step away from mixed ceremonies as well, because we're already going through a ceremony, so why double up? And then the last medicine, of course, is tobacco. I've been gifted so much tobacco. And I always pass it forward to many different elders, but it's just such a blessing every time you're gifted tobacco, because it's saying thank you from your spirit to someone else's spirit, or vice versa. You're receiving something from their spirit, so it's a gift, it's an honor. And we also have Kinsasa up there, which is red willow bark. I don't have my red willow bark there. Do I have it on me? Haha, I do. Actually, this is not that fresh, but I found a really good stash of red willow that I'm going to make sure that I pick before the ground thaws, because of course in the winter all of the medicine is actually in the roots, but it pushes it up into the branches as the ground freezes, and so now is the best time to pick it. You want to pick it before the end of this moon, so I have to pick it in the next couple days. And the hide that we have there usually is deer, and deer is the lightest of the medicines. It was said that it was actually the first medicine that was made, the first animal that was made, the first four-legged. So as all of the animals were all over the earth, and they started touching down and taking off, the creator of course made the fish, and the fish started jumping out into the air, and creator thought, wouldn't it be cool if something was connected to the air? And so as they jumped out, they created the birds, and the birds started hovering around, and then there's a longer story with Turtle Island being created, so Turtle Island was created, and then the birds touched down and took off, and creator thought, wouldn't it be amazing if there was something that was connected to the earth? And then as they touched down, they became the deer, and the bighorn sheep, and the goat, and the gazelle on the different continents, and this is why the first animals that were actually used to create drums were those lightest of the medicines, because the hide is easy to work with, but they also carry your messages to creator. So we use it oftentimes in ceremony, we'll use it for vision quests and things like that. But it's just it's an awesome way to meditate, and people who are having problems with dreams will oftentimes be called to the deer. So it's just a really powerful medicine. It's also connected to the air, and what the air reminds us of spirit, and it reminds us of kind of having faith, because you can't see the air, but you breathe, so you know it exists, and you can't see spirit, but you can feel it, so you know it exists. And it just reminds us of that sacred breath that we were all gifted, and we all share, and we're breathing the same air as our ancestors have been for thousands of generations. So it's really about honoring and being humble with our place and time, and that gift of breath, and that gift of life, but also honoring our elders, for they're the closest to spirit, and they would have learned all of those things. So that's why we go to elders for a lot of guidance and a lot of teachings. And just because you're old doesn't make you an elder. What makes you an elder is having that knowledge and having that wisdom, and having that ability to guide people without judgment. That's truly what being an elder is. It's those people who help their community in a very gentle way, and share their experiences with kindness and compassion, and not with force. So it's I know a lot of really wonderful elders, and I'm very, very humbled and thankful to know them. I actually want to spend a lot more time with them. So that being said, yay, those are all the medicines, those are all the hides. I know that's kind of like a quickie version. There's actually stories behind all of them, but those are just the teachings for, a very quick flash. But I'm going to start with a smudge, and of course, all 4 directions in the smudge bowl. The bowl itself is the shell, which is water. Doesn't necessarily have to be a shell, but I use a shell. We have the sage, but any medicine that we put in the bowl to burn, that represents earth, because it comes from the earth, and the ashes will go back into the earth when we're done. When we light it on fire, it represents fire, which is our mind, and then that smoke going up is to the air, it's to creator, so it's that spirit. And so that being said, before I do anything, I always take my earrings off before we start. So metal holds energy, and I want to let go of anything that I'm carrying. I don't want anything to be held. And I always use matches, never a lighter, because you want to be as close to Mother Earth as possible, but not violating her. Ooh. I also fan it with my hand. never with a feather because our breath is our life. And, we would fan it with a fan or a feather or a hand. I have feathers, but I've hidden them because my cats keep taking them. So I'm just we're gonna alleviate that stress. And we never blow on it because our breath is our life and our life is precious. So that being said, first thing I do is I smudge my hands, so anything that I'm carrying I get rid of. I bring it over my body 4 times to honor the 4 directions in my body. And I smudge my mind so I can think clearly and learn from every person that crosses my path. I smudge my eyes so I can see clearly and have clear vision. I honor the sight and I see all of the beauty that creators made around us. I smudge my ears so I can be open to hear all of the messages that Creator sends me. To remember that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak, but to be open and not just listen, but to hear. And vice versa. Smudge my nose so I smell danger and cookies. And also, so as those allergens start to bug me, it doesn't run near as much. I smudge my mouth so I speak only true and kind words that are helpful and benefit mankind. I always ask myself, is it truthful? Is it helpful? Is it kind? Is it respectful? But none of those things, don't say it, don't do it. I smudge my throat because I'm very thankful for my voice this lifetime, because I continue to give voice to the voiceless, but also Creator has gifted me with a voice so I can use it. My mushroom always used to say I had a loud voice, I have to use it, because that's what Creator gifted me, so. We always have these gifts that we have to find ways that they will benefit community and not just ourselves. I smudge my heart so I can be kind and compassionate and show unconditional love to all those that cross my path, my family, my friends, but also I can show that unconditional love to myself and that healing, because if you can't love yourself, how are you going to love someone else? Yes, I do watch a lot of RuPaul. I'm going to smudge my lungs so I breathe good, clean air to honor that sacred breath that we all share. I smudge my stomach so all of the food that I eat this day will nourish my body. I smudge my belly button because that's where my spirit is, so I remember to be conscious of my ancestors and listen to the Thunderbird as it speaks to me and through me. I smudge my womanhood because I'm very thankful to be a woman and a mother in this time. I am a 2-spirit woman, so I do take on both masculine and feminine roles, especially in ceremony or when teaching, but I am still in that feminine body, and I'm very thankful to be a woman. I smudge my shoulders and my back so I can carry all out of the responsibilities that Creator has gifted me with grace and humility. I smudge my arms and my hands so I can do the good work that Creator's put me here to do. I'll be making a lot of ribbon skirts tonight, so I'm asking for a lot of extra love in my hands. Smudge my legs so I walk this red road in a good way. That's the path of Aboriginal spirituality. And then I smudge my feet so I stay grounded and connected to Mother Earth, treading lightly upon her and honoring her with every step.
Are you still doing Tuesday live stream thing?
Yeah, I am. Are you gonna sing a song with?
I thought you were gonna call me or something.
Well, I wasn't sure. So, did you want to smudge?
What is that? Is that Zoom or something?
OBS. Did you want to smudge?
I kind of forgot how to do it.
No, there's no right or wrong way to smudge. Whatever feels good to you.
Just like move energy or something.
Yeah, gets rid of the stuff that you don't want and brings in the stuff that you do.
Okay. I'm done.
Okay, when you're done, you say hi or thank you or however you say.
Thank you.
Okay, so since Chloe's here, we are gonna sing the chickadee song.
Okay.
Do you remember that one?
Kind of.
It's call and response. So nice and easy. So this is Chloe, and I'm gonna move the chair so you can stand beside me. Oh, there's tools in the way. Here we go. The beauty of Zoom, you can like tuck your mess under your desk and nobody knows. Oh, now you know. So the song that I want to share with you, this is the Chickadee song. This is a song that came to me in ceremony, and I'm very thankful for this song. But it teaches us about just honoring each other's voices. And so you'll hear that calling out. Because the chickadee, when it talks to each other, you'll hear the little chickadee-dee-dee-dee. Then you'll hear that pause while the other one responds, cheeseburger. So they actually have those conversations. And they remind us in our own lives that we do have those two ears and one mouth for a reason, so that we can honor each other's voices, that we can listen intently. Because if we're thinking of other things or planning what we're going to say next, we might miss what someone's trying to share with us. And we're missing those gifts, we're missing that time with them. And so it's important to really honor each other's voices, because we expect people to listen to us, we got to listen to them. And so when we sing this song, we usually do it as a call and response. But we can also sing it all the way through, but we're going to do it as a call and response tonight. So you're ready to learn? Okay, repeat after me. Hop-dee-o, ho-ho.
Hatio?
Hop-dee-o.
Hop.
Hop-dee-o.
Hop.
Want me just to play the drum?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I'll sing with you.
Okay. Hop-dee-o, ho-ho. 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 you sing another one?
Sure.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So, what song do you want to sing? Do you remember any of them?
Really?
Not really. Some more call and response songs?
Yeah.
Okay! So, I'm going to share the I Love You song, which is the only Blackfoot song I know, which is Gitsikokumen. So Gitsikokumen means I love you, or it actually means like I love your presence. I love having you in my life. I love having you around. I love your existence. And I appreciate you, which is, I think, something we need to tell people every day. And so I would love to learn more Blackfoot songs, but so far this is the only one I know. And this song is from Olivia Tailfeathers, and I honor her for sharing this song with so many different generations. And so, yeah, she's just brilliant and wonderful, and she's shared in schools like I have, and just really trailblazed such a way for sharing culture in a meaningful way. And so, Gitsikokumen. And we're going to sing it to everyone. Then, na'a. Oh, actually, I learned a new word. Boy, which is water. So we're going to sing it to everyone. Then we're going to sing it to na'a, which is Mother Earth. Then we're going to sing it to where we live, which is Mohinstis. And then we're going to sing it to Oboy, which is water. Gitsikokumen, everyone, Gitsikokumen, everyone, Gitsikokumen, everyone, Okay. So thank you. That was awesome. I'm glad you came of your own accord. Usually I'm like, come and sing with me. And the kids are like, no, you're weird, Mom. So, but I'm just really thankful and humbled to have them here. When the girls moved in, it was on February 8th last year. And then, of course, everything went into lockdown. So I was like, we're going to get to know each other real well. How many board games can we play in a week? But so it was just a gift to have them in my home and have them in my life, and, you know, have them, you know, with us, because we've just created this amazing family, and it's humbling, and I'm very thankful. So that being said, I had just sang this actually earlier, which is the Mother's Song, but I think it's that beautiful way to honor, mothers or caregivers in any way, shape, or form. It's those people who give back to their community. And sometimes, when kids kind of go off on their own, it's heart-wrenching. It also refers back to the time of residential schools, when our children were ripped from us and we didn't get a chance to raise them the way that we wanted to. Now we're starting to come back to those traditional ways of child rearing, but it was still hard. There's a lot of wounds to heal, and so we're working on it. And this is what healing intergenerational trauma looks like. It's taking on family members and teaching them good ways to be proud of who they are and the blood that runs through their veins. And so this song really honors all of those people who are struggling to break those cycles, for all of those people who have been affected by those cycles themselves, and for all of those people who just need that healing to really honor who they are, and that child, that inner child that we need to love and appreciate and mother ourselves. And so this is the Mother Song. I appreciate you too, Emily. I see Lance there. Oh, I love you and your energy too. I would love to work with you. You're amazing. The next song I'm going to share, this song is, I've been thinking a lot about turtles, and I keep seeing turtles everywhere. On people's regalia, on people's earrings. I even have the turtle on my earring, which I'm so proud of, my beautiful earrings that are medicine wheels and turtles to honor Mother Earth, to honor my Oji Cree heritage, and just the teachings that I carry with me of the turtle. And so I'm very, very humbled and thankful to be able to, carry that in my everyday life, whether it be in a little form or whether it be in here. And so one of the songs that we share often at marches is the Strong Woman song, and originally it was known as the Turtle song. It's an Oji Cree song. Oh, cedar tea, it has a bite to it. Man, it cures what ails ya. My nose has stopped running since I've started drinking this, and I'm only half done. It's amazing. So I really love cedar tea. But this song is known as the Strong Woman song now, but originally it was the Turtle song, which made sense that it was kind of transferred over into the Strong Woman song, because the turtle is our beautiful Mother Earth, and it's also our Grandmother Moon. It's that representation of Grandmother Moon and all of the women's teachings that she incorporates. And so when we look at Grandmother Moon and the turtle, they both have 13 bumps. So the turtle has 13 bumps to represent the 13 moons in a year, just like Grandmother Moon. And it has 28 days represented in the ridges around the outside, just like our moon time. And so it represents that sacredness that we have as women, and the teachings that we carry forward as the life bearers, as the life givers, as the ones that bring community together, as the ones that protect the water. Women are traditionally the water keepers. We're the ones who would carry a lot of water ceremonies with us. Two-spirit people would carry both fire as well as water ceremonies. They would actually pretty much carry all of the ceremonies. In case something happened, they would fill in the gaps. They were like the understudy of ceremonies. So this is why it's really important to have two-spirit people in your nation. And I think this is why we're seeing this influx of so many two-spirit people coming forward, because we have lost so many of the voices of our ancestors, and the two-spirit have been bringing it back. The artists have been bringing it back, and those storytellers and knowledge keepers have been bringing it back. So it's a gift to live in the time that we're in now, even though it's very, unsure, it's very shaky. We still have hope, because we're seeing all of these signs of hope, and it really teaches us to really honor that hope. And so I'm going to share with you the Strong Woman song, which is, it's just carried me through so many different marches and rallies, and it's such a gift to be able to share it in a good way. When I sing it, I go a little bit higher every time, and that's to represent that us coming together and rising above, women leading community to heal, and all of community coming together to rise above, and eventually we will rise above together. So this is the... Oh, it's also done in a heartbeat, which is the healing's beat. It's also the women's beat. It's also that it's a ceremony beat as well. Chimagwitch, and whew, that song always gives me goosebumps even when I just sing it. It's just so powerful, and it just reminds me of all of the strong women that, you know, continue to march and strive for justice for, you know, all of our families that are struggling across Turtle Island. Being said, I have time for another women's song before I do my closing song. So I'm going to share the Women's Honor Song. The Women's Honor Song, Anakea. And so this song, it really teaches us to honor that heartbeat and honor that sacredness of Mother Earth, who's under our feet. She has that pulse, she has that rhythm, and often when you hear this song, you really want to pulse with her. You want to honor that. This is why whenever we pick up a kid or a baby to calm them, we're usually bouncing them. We have this like pulse, this natural rhythm to be able to kind of regulate things. And so it's just a gift to be able to feel that. And certain songs will bring that out of us. Certain women's songs especially will bring that out of us. That nurturing aspect, that healing aspect. And so this is this song is Arapaho and Cherokee from Joan Henry, who is absolutely amazing. She has done such extensive activism work down in the States, and she was also part of there was this beautiful art piece that kind of went and it traveled, and it had these beautiful robes and these wonderful drums that were all painted with incredible, powerful, and empowering messages. And I was the lead drum here, and we were looking at old videos, and she was the lead drum in New York. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doing good work. So it was such a cool kind of throwback to you know, honoring this song alongside her. So this is the Women's Honor Song.
Anageya, wehawiya, wehanawe, wehawiya, wehawiya, Anageya, wehawiya, wehanawe, wehawiya, wehawiya, when I know when away we are, when away no way we oh hey we are, way high ya, way high we are, Anageya, way how we are, way how we are, way how we are, we are. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, way high, way high, way high we are, Anageya, way how we are, way how no way, way how we are, way how we are, we are. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, way high, way high, way high we are, Anageya, way how we are, way how no way, way how we are, way how we are, we are. When away, no way, when away we are, when away, no way we oh hey we are, way high, way high, way high we are, Anageya, way how we are, way how no way, way how we are, way how we are, we are, we are.
Oh, hey, Haley. So I'm going to sing one more song just to wish everybody a wonderful week. I've been thinking a lot about the Thunderbirds. So a couple of nights ago, was it last night? Oh, sorry, that mouse is back in my window. He is so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyway, I'm very distracted by the mouse. But a couple of nights ago, I was sitting and I was making drumsticks because, of course, I always need more drumsticks. But I was watching these like squalls of snow, and I could hear thunder. And I was like, that is amazing. I have never heard thunder during a snowstorm because usually it's so quiet, it kind of muffles it so you can't hear it. But because the storm was so intense, you could hear that thunder throughout the snow. And then I saw a flash of lightning and I was like, whoa, the Thunderbird is here. And so, this song has just been on my mind since then, because the Thunderbird, whenever we hear that thunder, especially in like the first rains, it reminds us of, it's like waking up the earth. It's saying, okay, time to come back to life. And Grandfather Sun comes and encourages it with his warmth and his love. And so it's really that time of transitioning, of awakening, and coming out of our dens and coming out of the ground, and coming out into community in a meaningful way, and growing, really reflecting on everything that we've learned throughout the winter, and bringing that to fruition and letting it bloom in the springtime. And so the Thunderbird it's like that force that, whether it be called fate or destiny or the thing that pushes us forward. Hi, Emily. But it's really that force, that guiding force. It's like our ancestors talking through us. It reminds us when we make decisions, we have to make them in a good way by weighing what would our ancestors do, or what have they done? Am I honoring everything that I'm doing with this decision I'm making? Am I reflecting on the teachings that my elders have left for me, all of the sacrifices that they have made to bring these teachings here? And am I really respecting that legacy that they've left for me? And then we think 7 generations forward, what am I doing to leave a lasting legacy for my future generations? Am I leaving the better world for my future generations? As I said in the beginning, am I leaving a much better world, a cleaner space than when I got here? Or am I leaving a mess for them to clean up? And so I think if the last 3 generations were really thinking about that, we would be in a better spot than we're in now. But that's okay. We're going to get there. I feel sorry for our next generations because they're going to have to clean up a lot of mess. But I can only live in a good way to make sure that I'm soften that blow for our ancestors. And so it also teaches us to honor our internal Thunderbird, which is our intuition, which is never, ever, ever wrong. And really just trusting in it. There's some times when I look at something and I'm like, I should bring that with me today. And then I don't. And then I meet someone who needs it. I'm like, oh, I totally knew I should have brought that medicine with me today. And so it's really trusting that even just a brief moment when you're looking at something, and for some reason you're looking at it and you're like, why am I looking at this thing? Like there was a tray that was kind of precariously perched in one of my cupboards. I was looking at it and I'm like, that's precarious. Somebody's going to break that. But I didn't take the time to move it. And then my son opened the drawer and it smashed later that evening. And I'm like, yeah, I totally knew that was going to happen. So our intuition, never wrong. So this honors the Thunderbird that is bringing back that new life, that is bringing back that intuition for us, but really honoring it, honoring that noise that we make when we evolve, when we listen. And just that strength and power that the Thunderbird has of bringing new life back to the world. It reminds us that sometimes the most chaotic experiences are the most beautiful because they shape and mold us and strengthen us in ways that we never thought possible. This is why it's important to reflect on things. We can't go back in time to change them. We can only move forward in a good way and learn from our mistakes. We'll learn from those things. And if we're making the same mistakes over and over and over again, eventually the Thunderbird's going to get fed up and just boop, kick us in the butt and put us on the right path. So really reminding ourselves to listen to the Thunderbird, listen to that intuition. And our head can trick us, our heart can trick us, but our intuition never lies. So trust it, trust the Thunderbird. And this is so everyone has a wonderful journey towards wonderful spring and a beautiful moon tonight.
Get you my place, oh, I need to get you, I know. Way hey yo. Way hey yo. Way high, oh. Get you my place, oh, I need to get you, I know. Way
so much for joining me tonight. And I do this every Tuesday, and sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself, but I always think I'm sharing what's meant to be shared in that moment. And I think that's what needs to happen. We have to just trust in that Creator puts us in the right place for a reason. So yeah, have a beautiful, beautiful week. And yeah, please do check out Nitsitapi water protectors and the anti-racism movements that are going on around you, because it's important to, protect our world for our future generations, but also to, honor each other, honor all of our ancestors, because they brought us together for a reason. And so, miigwech everyone, hi, and have a beautiful, beautiful week. And oh my gosh, it's almost April. Good night.